Here's our first question in graphing linear equations that are not in standard form. So in order to graph this equation, we need to get y alone in the form of y equals mx plus b. So what we're going to do first is subtract x from both sides. And when we do that, we're left with 3y equals, we want to put the x term first to keep the mx plus b format. So we have negative x minus 9 in our last step. Since 3 is attached to the y through multiplication, we need to divide every single term by 3. This is where a few kids tend to mess up. So when you're dividing negative x by 3, you might want to put the number 1 in front of x, because it's really negative 1x. This way you can see that it's clearly the fraction of negative 1/3, and then you can just put the x next to that fraction. Minus 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this is our equation in standard form. Now there are a few things that we know from this equation. We know that our slope is negative 1/3. We also know that our y-intercept is negative 3. And this is where we are going to start our graph. So we'll start by plotting our first point at the y-intercept of negative 3. Then from there, since it's a negative slope, we can either go down 1 and to the right 3, or we can go up 1 and to the left 3. Because in a negative slope, you can only go a negative direction at one time. So once we plot our few points, we can then use our ruler to make a nice straight line through the points. Don't forget to put arrows at the end, because the line does go on forever. And then in your last step, you are going to label this line with the equation in standard form, y equals negative 1/3 x minus 3.